So this adventurous story begins by showing a man who was carrying another person's body. First, he takes it out of his car, and then he digs a pit and buries it properly, meaning nobody found out about it at all, and that man got his work done easily. Now, the next day around that same place, we're shown a man named Jack who had to go toward the city, but his motorcycle had broken down. So he was standing on the road asking everyone for a lift. But this is the problem. So many cars were passing by there, yet not one of them stops to give him a lift. Jack had started getting a little frustrated. How mean the people of this city are, that they don't help others at all. Moving a little further ahead, we suddenly see a board on which it was clearly written that you must not give a lift to any stranger and don't even think of stopping your car. Why is all this written? Jack couldn't make sense of it. He just wanted to get to the city from here by asking people for help. Since there was no other way, he starts walking on foot. Suddenly he sees a car inside which a boy and a girl were sitting, and the two of them are fighting with each other. When that boy's car stopped at the side and Jack goes over to look, he started feeling that the boy's hitting the girl. So he immediately goes toward the car and tells them to get out. Jack immediately opened the door too and started threatening the boy. He didn't want a girl to be tortured in front of him. That girl, whose name was Veronica, comes and stands behind Jack. And now Jack starts saying to the boy, "You can't hurt her." But the boy, on the contrary, says, "Keep this girl with you. She's a total psycho, and I picked her up midway." Saying just this, the boy took his car and left. Now Veronica looks at Jack with very sweet eyes as if she was asking for help. So now Jack starts moving ahead with Veronica and keeps asking for a lift. But the same result kept coming. Nobody stops their car for them. It seems as if something is written on their faces. Now, after getting frustrated here, Jack finally asks Veronica why people are behaving like this. Then Veronica explains that around this place there lives a dangerous killer who catches people and kills them brutally. So all the citizens are afraid that if they stop the car, that killer might attack them. But Veronica doesn't believe these things. Many people consider it just a story, but here Jack wasn't getting any lift, and now slowly it started getting dark too. Jack and Veronica now decided to spend the night in the nearby forest. A fire is lit there, and the two of them sat around it so they wouldn't feel too cold. Jack now started asking about Veronica. So she says, "I'm a traveler. I want to travel the whole world in a very good way and explore every single place in it." Veronica showed her diary, in which she used to mention every single thing. At the moment, she's doing many of her signatures, as if she was preparing for something. Jack is quite fascinated seeing these things. It's the first time he has seen such an excited girl. Jack told her about himself too, that he had come here to travel, but his money and everything got stolen on the way, with the help of which he could go back to his country. Now Veronica was looking at his passport very carefully, as if she has some work with it and she's surely going to do something or other later on. Now the two of them fall asleep quite comfortably at that place, and when morning comes and Jack was opening his eyes, he sees that Veronica isn't there at all. He quickly started moving ahead, calling out to her. Then it turns out that Veronica is bathing in a pond nearby. She was calling Jack over to her too so the two of them could chill. Jack couldn't refuse her, and taking off his clothes, he goes straight into the water. The two of them had a lot of fun bathing in that pond's water, and it felt as if he was in some 5-star swimming pool. After bathing quickly, the two of them set off to move ahead so that someone else might come to help and Jack could somehow reach the city. Now at that place, a lucky thing happened. A car comes and stops there. Inside it sat a man whose name is Grizzard. Grizzard saw Jack and Veronica and stopped the car and told them to get in because he's ready to give the two of them a lift. Now Jack was convinced, but for some reason Veronica doesn't trust Grizzard at all. Somewhere she was feeling quite afraid. So she says, "I won't sit inside and I won't go with him." But when Jack explains that there'll be no danger in it, he looks like a good man who'll drop us at our destination. We'll just have to sit in the car for a little while. Now Jack was insisting so much that Veronica agrees, and both of them sat inside his car. Immediately now, Grizzard started moving ahead with them in the car, and now it seems he'll drop them right at their destination. Now, while traveling on the way, Grizzard told Veronica and Jack that traveling might take you quite a while, and if it gets dark, driving the car could be quite risky. So Grizzard made it clear that you won't be able to reach today. A better plan is that my house is nearby, where you people can rest for one night, and then the next day set off toward your destination. Jack was thinking about this a little, and these things seemed practical to him. He became quite happy with this decision, and finally says yes to Grizzard for it. Veronica wasn't saying anything. She was sitting quietly at the back. Grizzard now somehow brings the two of them into his house where his wife Sarah was present. The two of them lived alone in such a big house. Now she quickly shows Jack his room, and Grizzard took Veronica away. The two of them host Jack and Veronica very well. Now Jack, who was so tired after walking a lot, lies straight down on the bed and falls asleep right there. He had no idea at all when he fell asleep, because his body was completely exhausted. Several hours passed by like this, and now it was nighttime. When Jack wakes up, he starts wandering around the house. Suddenly, he sees a box inside which there were photographs of Grizzard and his wife Sarah. He starts looking at them carefully, and he feels very good that this couple lives together. But he also found some other photos, which were of a boy and a girl. At one point, Jack was thinking that these must surely be Grizzard's children, who look quite happy in the photographs. But another thing was running through his mind, that ever since he came here, he hadn't seen any children around. So where did Grizzard and his wife's children go? He wanted answers to these things. Now all those people sit down together to have dinner, and it looked like nothing less than a candlelight dinner. Grizzard and Sarah had made quite good dishes for them, which the two were enjoying. Jack and Veronica didn't even feel that they had come to someone else's house. It seemed like a complete family moment among them. But just then, at that place, the talk of that killer comes up, the one who keeps wandering on the roadside and kills people. Jack and Veronica started asking Grizzard many things. But as soon as Grizzard's wife Sarah hears this talk, she got completely scared and gets straight up and leaves from there, as if she doesn't want to participate in these things at all. Now Jack goes straight from there into Veronica's room, but she wasn't in her room at all. Rather, Veronica was sitting outside smoking a cigarette. Jack too went over to her and immediately started keeping her company. For some reason, Veronica was getting very tense after coming here. She says to Jack, "We'll have to leave here the next day." She doesn't have a good feeling about this, but Jack explains to her that maybe these people are good, and until she leaves in the morning, they can't go. Suddenly now, lightning started flashing quite strongly in the sky. Very heavy rain had started at that place, so Jack and Veronica immediately come into the house. The two of them started heading to their rooms. Veronica went straight to sleep, and there Jack notices that Grizzard is sitting in the common area, drinking. He too immediately went over to him to give him company. Maybe Jack felt like drinking too. Now when the two of them were talking, Jack told Grizzard that as soon as morning comes, we'll leave from here. This will be better, because he doesn't want to trouble you people. But Grizzard starts telling Jack that maybe you can't go tomorrow either. You'll have to stay one more day, because the weather has now turned bad. Because of very heavy rain and a lot of lightning, going onto the road is completely forbidden. This was that city's rule, which all the citizens must follow. But Jack was hoping that tomorrow's weather would be completely normal. Only then would they be able to leave that place and reach their destination. Jack asked Grizzard about his children, whose photos he had seen in the room. But Grizzard clearly says, "I have no children. I live with just my wife, Sarah." Even when Jack pointed out again and again, Grizzard's answer was the same. And Jack couldn't understand why he was lying to him. And if he has no children, then whose photographs are those? Thinking all these things in his mind, he came into his room and started resting. When Jack gets up in the morning and comes downstairs after washing his hands and face, so that he could set off toward his destination as fast as possible, it turned out that Veronica isn't in her room at all. He quickly went downstairs to look for her, and then Grizzard met him and was saying, "Veronica left in the morning. Some important work came up. Because of this, she couldn't go with you." Jack couldn't believe it at first, because just last night Veronica had promised him that we'll go together. But now he searched the whole house, yet Veronica is nowhere to be found. Grizzard even gave him a letter from Veronica, on which it was clearly written that "I'm leaving here because important work has come up, so reach the city safe and sound." Jack was quite stunned seeing this letter, because now he'd have to make the journey alone. Grizzard explains to Jack that there'll be many such things in your life, but you'll always have to stand up for yourself. Now Grizzard started saying that the time for you to go has come too. Jack started saying to Grizzard, "You were going to drop me in your car." But Grizzard turned away at the last moment and started saying, "I have some other work," meaning poor Jack would now have to move ahead on foot. He somehow makes his way out into the forest area and looks at Veronica's letter again and again. Toward the bottom, he saw Veronica's signature. Just then, he immediately took out another paper on which Veronica had done her signatures herself at nighttime. When Jack matches the two signatures, they weren't the same at all. They are completely mismatched. From all these things, Jack understood this much, that Veronica hasn't gone anywhere. maybe Grizzard has locked her up inside the house and is doing something wrong with her. Now, as soon as Jack turned to go back, it turned out that someone grabbed his mouth and injected an unconsciousness injection into his neck. Poor Jack fell right there and became unconscious. Slowly, when his eyes opened, he could see that someone has locked him inside a truck, inside which there were many dead animal bodies, meaning someone had kidnapped him and was taking him into the forest. By the time Jack could understand all these things and really come to his senses, he sees in front of him many animals that were arranged on a shelf in such a way as if someone plays with their dead bodies. Suddenly, there's an old man there who was making soup out of all these animals. Actually, it was this man who had kidnapped Jack and tied up his hands and feet. Jack kept asking again and again, "Who are you? And why have you brought me here?" But that old man says nothing and makes Jack drink that same animal soup. Jack was feeling like vomiting, seeing all these things, and now he starts thinking that this is the killer all the citizens talk about. Jack, out of fear, started begging that he be let go. But now that old man comes near his feet with a sharp weapon and starts saying that if you don't drink the soup, I'll cut off your fingers. He was almost about to cut them. Just then Jack, getting completely panicked, starts drinking that animal soup. Its taste was so awful that he was vomiting. But even so, he was doing it for his life. After which, that old man takes out a tape and, tying up Jack's hands and feet, puts him in his truck, meaning he was going to take him somewhere else. Now he was preparing an injection to put Jack to sleep. Just then, suddenly, a smell of something burning comes from his house. That old man immediately ran into the house to turn off the stove. So now, after getting this good chance, Jack tries to free himself. Luckily, a small nail had caught his hand, with which he completely removed the tape on his hand, and getting out of that place, starts running straight into the forest. Jack, now traveling, had come straight to Grizzard's house, because he still thinks that Veronica hasn't gone anywhere. Rather, Grizzard and his wife have kept her captive. So now he's watching Grizzard and his family very carefully. In front, Grizzard was fighting with his wife over something, and this is actually about Jack and Veronica. The two of them decided something and then sat in their car and started going far away. After they left, Jack sneaks into their house secretly, and this is what he was trying to do, to find Veronica at that place. Now Jack somehow goes into the house, and when he starts looking in all the rooms, his suspicion turned out to be completely right, because Veronica was tied up inside one of its rooms. This must obviously be Grizzard and his wife Sarah's doing. So Jack immediately freed Veronica and started running away from there with her. In a little while, the sound of Grizzard's car starts coming, meaning they have reached here. So Jack, instead of going out the front, took Veronica and went out the back way. In front, there was another car, sitting, in which they move ahead. Now Sarah had seen all these things, so now Grizzard and Sarah both sat in the car and started chasing them. Now at one moment it seemed that Jack would get away with the car, but Grizzard's car's speed was greater than his. In a little while he matches it and reaches right behind. Grizzard very rapidly started ramming his car, from which Jack's car takes a lot of damage, and a moment came when his balance got completely thrown off. Jack and Veronica's car fell down from that place. Such a big accident, but the good thing that happened was that the two of them didn't get very hurt. Only a little blood was flowing from Jack's head, from which he starts becoming unconscious. But Veronica didn't want to get trapped in their clutches again, so she somehow takes Jack and, running, goes into a farmhouse standing in front. Many strange things were kept there, but for now they had to hide from those people. Jack and Veronica were very scared, and Jack wasn't even staying conscious. Because of getting so hurt, he fell right there and became unconscious. But actually, they have no idea at all that this farmhouse belongs to no one else but that same old man who had kidnapped Jack earlier. And now that same old man has come near the two of them. As soon as Veronica sees him, she picks up a gun. Taking the old man at gunpoint, she said, "Let us go from here." But that man was only saying that you're misunderstanding me. I'll explain to you properly how I can help. But Veronica wasn't trusting him at all, and Jack even tells her to shoot him. As Veronica moves closer, that old man started going back. Now suddenly his foot strikes something, and the old man fell right down. The unfortunate thing is that a sharp iron rod had been kept there, which when he fell straight down, goes into that old man's body, meaning that old man's death happened just like that. Now Jack was feeling completely relaxed, and Veronica goes and looks after him. Because of a lot of blood loss, he became unconscious, for which reason Veronica puts polythene over his body, meaning now no one will be able to find Jack. Now when Veronica went over to that old man, his life was still remaining, and he was pointing straight toward Veronica. Within a little while, Grizzard and Sarah arrived there and tried to stop Veronica. But Veronica was calling Grizzard and Sarah Mom and Dad, meaning it was then that a very dark reality came out. Actually, Veronica is the daughter of Grizzard and Sarah, and the killer they had been talking about, who picks up anyone from the roadside and kills them, that was no one else but Veronica. Just like with Jack, Veronica used to trap many people in her net and bring them to her house and kill them. A little while ago, Veronica had finished off that old man, too very brutally. It seems Veronica takes pleasure in taking someone's life, and this truth was known to Grizzard and Sarah from long before. The actual thing is that Veronica used to have a brother too, and from years before, Veronica was a psychopathic girl. One day her brother refused to play with Veronica, at which Veronica had killed her own brother. Now Grizzard and Sarah had understood what she was about, but they didn't want to send their daughter to jail because their son is already gone and now their last daughter is left. So they decided to hide everything and kept Veronica in the house. But the psychopathic girl inside her was never going to leave. So Veronica searches for her prey from place to place to kill people. Grizzard also revealed that when Jack was brought to his house, he had understood that Veronica would attack him. So he was deliberately contacting that old man and trying to get Jack kidnapped, meaning that old man didn't want to harm Jack. Grizzard had only told the old man to take Jack and leave him somewhere else, so that his daughter Veronica wouldn't hurt him, meaning Grizzard had been saving Jack from the very beginning. When Veronica was caught and kept in the house, she was earlier running away with the previous boy, after which she came along with Jack, and when they had tied Veronica up in the house, Jack freed her and took her away. Grizzard didn't tell Jack anything either, because he didn't want to reveal this at all. But now everything had gone beyond the limit. They're very angry at their daughter because she keeps committing murder after murder, and if it goes on like this, Veronica will have to go to jail. Grizzard and Sarah knew everything about their daughter Veronica. That's why they were taking her along with them. The three of them were sitting in the car, and Grizzard and Sarah were shouting at her that today you killed one more person, and that person was no one else but Grizzard's friend, who had been living with him for years. Grizzard is very angry at his daughter Veronica. Meanwhile, Veronica was dodging the matter, saying, "I didn't kill him. He died on his own. I was only trying to scare him," whereas he himself had fallen on the iron rod. But Grizzard doesn't believe his daughter at all and declares her a killer. After seeing so many things, Grizzard and Sarah finally decide that they'll send their daughter to jail. From this, at least people's lives would be saved. Now these fights keep happening among these people. Just then we see Jack, and in his hand there was a shotgun, which he points at them. Because Jack still doesn't know anything about Veronica's truth. He still thinks that Grizzard and Sarah want to kill Veronica and him. So now with the help of the gun, he gets the two of them out of the car. Veronica was sitting at the back and laughing, because she knows that until the truth comes out, Jack will believe only her. But here the surprising thing is that when Grizzard and Sarah were telling Jack the truth about Veronica, Veronica didn't want it to be revealed at all, because from this her whole secret would be exposed, and Jack too wouldn't trust her. That's why Veronica immediately took Jack's gun and started hitting her own mother in the stomach. She drops her right there and knocks her unconscious. Now the only one left was Veronica's father Grizzard. Grizzard too wanted to tell Jack, but Veronica put tape over his mouth. She ties up his hands and feet properly so that he doesn't reveal anything. Grizzard and Sarah had no other way left to stop their daughter. Veronica straight away tells Jack to sit in the car, and the two of them leave from there directly. Even now, Jack hadn't found out the truth, that the one sitting beside him, and whom he had been trusting from the beginning, is actually the killer. Jack had gotten a little hurt too, so he starts resting a little. But the smile that appears on Veronica's face was so creepy and dangerous that anyone would be scared seeing it. Grizzard and Sarah tried very hard to stop their daughter and tell the truth about her, but their own daughter hurt her parents very badly. From this, we can estimate how psycho-minded she is, and that to take someone's life, she can do anything. Now, when Jack was moving ahead in the car, trusting Veronica, just then the happiness completely leaves Veronica's face, and lowering her hands, she started taking out a knife. Meaning now Veronica's whole gaze is on Jack, and it seems that she'll finish Jack off. Meaning, the way Jack met Veronica, Veronica had been targeting him from the very beginning. She deliberately took Jack to her own house and her own parents, and behaved as if the two of them were complete strangers. Poor Grizzard tried very hard to save Jack, but in the end they too had to face defeat. And now looking at it, it seems that Jack too won't be able to survive. Our story ends right here with this dangerous ending. So viewers, if you like my narration even 1%, then do like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll meet in stories of this kind that are fun. Until then, bye.